So weird, so unnecessary. What was he doing? Welcome to Agents of Screen, the first and the only place for movie reviews live at the cinema. I looked like I was going to do like a people's elbow there, but I am your boy Miles, aka the Bald Beyonce, and we are here for my spoiler-free review of Zack Snyder's Justice League. The much discussed. I'm not going to get into the nitty-gritty of how this film came into fruition, but it's been years in the making and finally we are here at this point. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back. Make sure you hit that like and drop a comment. Really helps us with the algorithm. And if you're new here, welcome just the same. I hope you stay. And if you do, hit that subscribe button. That being said, I'm going to tell you what I liked, what I didn't like, whether you should see this movie, and my score out of 10. I will say though that it was tricky to do this review because it's very difficult not to compare it to the first film. So it's almost like you have to give it two grades, one based on the theatrical release and one as a standalone, and that was tricky, I can't lie, because most of my positives are compared to the theatrical release. Speaking of which, this film is better in every single aspect than the theatrical release, the Joss Whedon version. Better action, much better story, better character development, more consistent tone, because the Joss Whedon version was like a weird Frankenstein monster of a movie for obvious reasons. I also enjoyed that there were better versions of each hero, bar one. There were better versions of each hero in this film. It seemed like Zack Snyder paid them much more respect. Batman was more useful and not some emo teenager like the first one. It was a better Flash, it was a better Wonder Woman, a more ruthless Wonder Woman, and a better Cyborg, who was really the heart of the film and really came to the fore. And it was a much better ending and climax than the theatrical release. They gave us things. There's a scene involving Barry Allen, I won't spoil it, but that's definitely my highlight of the film. What a scene. What a scene. Even Steppenwolf was a much better character. They paid him more respect. He had more substance, more layers to his character, more of a story arc that resonates more. In the first one, he seemed like some very generic two-dimensional villain. So I appreciated that a lot. And it was more difficult for him to acquire the mother boxes, because in the first one, he seemed like he just snapped up like that, like they didn't even put up much fight. Now I'll get onto the things I didn't like so much. Firstly, I would say the CGI looked wonky to me, especially in the first half, and especially with Cyborg and Wonder Woman. I don't know what it is with her, but it just looks so fake. But I would say it was very ambitious because they tried to do and rely on green screen a lot with what they were trying to achieve, but it still looked very wonky to me in certain places. And in my things that I did like, I mentioned that they gave us better versions of each hero, bar one. That bar one was Aquaman, who for me still was sidelined in this film. He didn't do anything of any real importance in the film, so I thought that was a shame. Now listen, I understand Justice League, or this current iteration of the Justice League, is made up of 6 members, so it's difficult to kind of split your time amongst each hero and give them their just due. However, they could have done a better job to kind of showcasing his skill set and just more respect in general. Speaking of heroes, the Flash, he was supposed to be the comic relief in this film. That's his role in the team, that's his device in the film. However, his jokes, for me, didn't hit at all. I didn't find them funny, and to be honest, I found them quite annoying. That's me though. I know comedy is subjective, but that's purely my opinion. Also, as we all know, this film is 4 hours long. So the first 2/3 of the movie feels like a super long build-up. And it was very exposition heavy. So I thought this film could have easily been 3.5 hours long. Because the epilogue, I won't say what's in the epilogue, but a lot of that stuff was unnecessary. And again, in my personal opinion, I'm just not a fan of Jared Leto's Joker. It's a bit of a throwaway for me. Also, I don't think the film done a good job of explaining what the anti-life equation was. If you're a fan of the comics, from the comics you will know what it is, but in the movie they give zero explanation of what it is, why it's important, why the antagonist of the film wanted so badly. And that's a real shame considering this film is already 4 hours long, one, and this film is already exposition heavy, so it would have taken absolutely nothing for them to add like an extra minute or two to explain what the anti-life equation is and why it's important. And finally, I will say that I think this film would have been a better Justice League movie if the universe was more in a structured order, so you wouldn't have to give a Cyborg and Flash origin story within this movie, because you would have already had a Cyborg and Flash origin story before this film even came out, so you can just focus more on the team and the story and other things that matter. Because the first half of it definitely feels like a multi-origin story film. But Should you see this film? Yes, you should. I really enjoyed it, and you will especially enjoy it if you're a fan of superhero films and, more specifically, a fan of the DC universe. I give Zack Snyder's Justice League a 7.5 out of 10. And just to close, I will say Joss Whedon is an absolute criminal. Aside from the things that he's been accused of, which you can look online for yourself and see what they are, looking at this film, some of the decisions that he made in the theatrical release are very peculiar. Henry Cavill with the mustache, the Russian or Polish family that they had in there, so weird, so unnecessary. What was he doing? That being said, I hope you enjoyed my review. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of the film. Did you enjoy it? Didn't you enjoy it? I have been your boy Miles. We have been the Agents of S.C.R.E.E.N. And until the next video, which should be coming extremely soon, peace.